Welcome. Hey, everybody. Are you already working in litigation support? Do you want to work in litigation support? Today, we're going to talk about what it's like to work in litigation support. We're going to talk a little bit about the positives, a lot about the positives, and a little bit about the negatives. Whether you're already in litigation support or you're looking to get into litigation support, you'll probably enjoy today's show. Okay, so today's question is, what is your favorite thing about litigation support? So if you're already working in it, should be able to pick one thing. If you're looking to get into it, what is it about litigation support that you're attracted to and that you're looking forward to doing? Okay, so let me know that in the comments. And let's get things going here. All right. We've got, oh, Wade's already beeping me. Did I really already say Gosh, I probably did. Okay. I've got comments up on Facebook and YouTube. And I pinned a comment today to try and get those that have just been watching to actually comment. And I have a few other tricks up my sleeve today to try and get people to participate. That's the whole point of live, you guys. All right, so what's your favorite thing about a career in litigation support? Let me know in the comments. So I have lots of things I like about litigation support, and today I'm going to share with you a bunch of things that I've learned along the way to succeed in litigation support. So there's a couple things I'm going to talk about that I just happen to like about the career, and then there's other things I'm going to describe that over time you learn how to do these things, and it helps you be more successful in litigation support. I'm also going to be speaking from the law firm standpoint, perspective, whatever, point of view, because that's where I've spent most of my time, is on the law firm side. So some of the things I say today might not apply if you're working for a corporation or for government, okay? All right, let's see. Wade says it's an ever-changing and challenging profession, and always something new to challenge my technical creativity. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, let's see. I just want to check to make sure my system's working right. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Let me check one thing here. One of the things with getting ready early is that sometimes the applications time out, which we're used to in litigation support as well. And that's why we have the pre-show, so that we can work out some of these things. Interesting. Okay, looks like we might not be able to put Facebook comments up on the screen. So let me come over here. Yep, there's Facebook comments coming in that weren't coming in. Okay, let me try to catch up here. And we're at 25 seconds. So Peter's here, Kathleen's here. Kathleen says, be careful what you wish for. Ramesh says he's joining from Virginia today. Ben says, a variety of tasks, never the same day twice. The enormous challenges. Good ones. Dave says, do lit support folks curate the AVO profiles for your clients? We're going to go with no. And then, okay, so since my Facebook app is not working today, I'm going to hope that Facebook refreshes the comments. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let me go ahead and get the show started here. Welcome to the Legal Tech Mastery Show. My name is Amy Bowser-Rollins, and I'm very excited to have you here today. Today we're going to talk about litigation support, one of my favorite topics. See, I even have a shirt that says it. We are going to talk about some of the fun things about litigation support, as well as some of the, I got a few negatives in here because that's the reality of the job, okay? All right, let's get started. You're gonna see YouTube comments, but you're not gonna see Facebook comments on the screen. So we will just deal with it. All right, let's see here. Before I get started, we got Christine from San Diego, Allison from Omaha, and Christine says, e-discovery is a puzzle to be solved. Isn't it though, Christine? Which is actually one of the things I like about it. Okay, so I have my favorite thing. The question of the day was, what is your favorite thing? So I have my favorite thing. So let's switch to that now. So my favorite thing about litigation support is that it's a very dynamic career. It's always changing, and lots of things cause it to change, and we're going to talk about some of those things today, okay? So many years ago, so I started my website in 2011, and about a year into it, I wrote this blog post, which we're not going to read right now, but I wanted to show you the title and the number of comments to see that it resonated with people. Why we should encourage people to join litigation support was the premise of the article. So further on down in the article, I was talking about the case studies because I used to do case studies of people in litigation support, and everybody really enjoyed them. And I ended up seeing a trend of people saying that they just thought it was a very rewarding career. Let me get this. Okay. Let me, Facebook is a little buggy with comments, so I just want to make sure I'm not ignoring you. Okay, so very rewarding career was the trend that I was seeing, but also if you look at the text that I highlighted in yellow, I said in the article that from the outside looking in, it can be scary and intimidating, which is true. A lot of people, there's a steep learning curve to get into our career. And then it can be demanding and frustrating, but also thrilling. So then I talked about the fact that there's a lot of little wins, and I highlighted the things in yellow that I thought was funny about what I said. And if you're in this career, you're totally going to get this. So we get excited about stupid things that give us a sense of accomplishment. So an unexpected thank you. Attorneys are known for not knowing how to say thank you. And if you get one that knows how to do it, you're very thankful to have that. If a database is running smoothly, yay, we're happy. And then if an attorney actually listens to you and takes your opinion. So I also mentioned that some lawyers are fun to work with. Keyword there is some. And also I encouraged everybody to give a virtual high five in the comments. Was one reason I had 22 comments. But also just the topic resonated with people. But I also wanted to ask you, do you give high fives at the office? I want to know in the comments. Do you give, Pat, good to see you joining. Do you give high fives at the office, in the workplace, like in the law firm, with attorneys? Because Amy Bowser does. I think I got it from playing volleyball, being on a volleyball team. But I will, if I'm passing you in the hall, in fact, if there's any people from Case Point right now, I've already started that trend there too. If I pass you in the hall, I'm going to raise my hand and get you to give me a high five. But also, if something goes right in a case, whether it's with an attorney or anybody on the legal team, I'm going to give you a high five. Basically, you have to celebrate when things go well. So if you do high fives at the office, please let me know. Let's see here. Okay, you guys can see that on the screen. Wade's being funny. How long did it take you to think that up? Have you used that before, Wade? Okay, no high fives? Huh. Gotta work with me, I guess. Okay. Let's see. All right, so one of the comments was from my friend Bo. Put Bo in the comments if you know Bo. He's on the West Coast. Wonderful human being, loves to teach paralegals e-discovery. And he ended up commenting, and he said he gets excited when the attorneys actually listen to his advice, when he did something right so it's defensible, when he figures out where that extra comma is in a load file. So we work with delimited text files, and sometimes you're trying to troubleshoot them. And then because he teaches, he said that aha moment in students' eyes. I love that moment myself. Even in the law firm, not just when I teach, because I teach on the job. That's part of litigation support. But also, just seeing somebody get it, because it's, like I said, sometimes there's a lot to grasp in e-discovery and litigation support. So when somebody gets it, the aha moments are nice. But Bo also mentions here that you figured out there's a problem and you fix it before anyone even knew there was a problem, which is an excellent skill to have. Okay. Ramesh on Facebook says, yes, that brings warmth and team building, absolutely necessary. That's probably in relation to the high five. Okay. Pat says, when something has gone right with a case. Christine says, when the attorney agrees with the proportionality agreement you propose. See, you see a trend here already when attorneys actually agree or listen or take your advice. Ugh, okay. So Wade alluded to this, and I always say this too. No two cases are even the same, even if they're for the same client. So, okay, one thing you get to be in litigation support is a project manager. So if you like project management, that's a good thing. You'll fit right in. You get to create systems and what I call workflows. But basically, there's a process to getting stuff done. And if you're good at that, if you're good at process management, then you'll succeed in litigation support. Luis says, expect the unexpected. That's very true. Okay. You get to design efficiencies. Let's be honest, there's a lot of inefficiencies inside a law firm. Unfortunately, it's true. There are. You get to be a multitasker, so you actually excel at multitasking because you have a bunch of attorneys on different cases coming to you all at the same time, and they all want something from you. All right, you get to translate geek. That's the definition of our job. We're a liaison between attorneys and IT or tech people. So we speak litigation and we speak tech. So we do that translation for them. We get to work with databases, which is actually one of the reasons that I joined litigation support when I saw this in the job description, because I had previously worked with databases and I really liked it. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Hey, Ian. Barbara says hi. All right, so Rob and Ian, the goal here is to participate. So please add comments as I tell you to, okay? You ready? All right, so we get to manipulate data. And we use this term manipulate. I don't know if people outside of our industry use that, but we get to mess with delimited text files. I say get to because it's part of the job, but some people actually like doing it and some people don't. So, but it's definitely part of the job is figuring out what's wrong with the data or getting the data into a format that you can use it to get it into a database. You're constantly taking things in and out of databases. All right, you get good at search queries. So that's another technique that I think I always say there's an art to search queries, to being able to search well. Excel is your friend. Excel, we use Excel a lot. Uh, Wade was telling me that he created a tool for his team that lets you get a DAT file, use Excel to work with a DAT file. And I'm going to be looking into that and maybe bringing that to you. So Kathleen says fun with data. Woohoo, fun with data. Let me refresh Facebook just in case, because it's definitely kind of wonky. All right. Let's see what's next. You get to be a trainer. So if you like training people, that's part of the job. If you don't like training people, don't train. Get someone else to do it. You get to be a consultant, which a lot of people like to be client-facing. What I call client-facing is you're talking to the attorneys directly. A lot of times lit support teams are split up between client-facing and behind the scenes. So there's the analyst person who deals a lot with the data, and then they never talk to the clients. And then there's other people that work with the attorneys and consult with them and make decisions and then figure out what needs to be done. So, and I personally like people that can do both. So I kind of hate it when the teams are split into two. Dave says, a lawyer who does his own IT has a fool for a client. We would agree with you, Dave. Dave's not in litigation support, but he's spot on. All right, so you get to work on litigation matters, litigation support, get it? But across all kinds of industries. So the cases you work on, you know, your firm may have a niche, a area that they're really good at and they focus on it. But typically in a law firm, you have litigation practice groups that are multiple litigation practice groups that are focused in different industries. So my favorite is white collar and antitrust. But I've also worked on, you know, pharmaceutical, product liability. I've worked on a bunch of medical malpractice. But I really prefer to be working with white collar and antitrust, which is mergers. Okay, so you get to go through the discovery process. So if you've been in a paralegal before and you're looking to get into litigation support and you've been working for litigators, then you probably already know about the discovery process. If you're coming to litigation support from IT, not so much. So it's going to be one more thing you have to learn is what is the discovery process? And I actually like the discovery process. I may be kind of weird, but I do like it. Okay, you might get to attend 30B6 depositions. So I have had an opportunity to do this, but I didn't do it when I worked at a law firm. If you are in a law firm and you've been able to do this, let me know. Put deposition in the comments. But once I got out of the law firm and I started doing consulting, then I was able to do this. So I've actually done it for two clients, two depositions, and it was fun. One of them I got to fly out, and they were both deposing IT people. So I sat at the table and translated geek. So that was pretty cool. You get to be a detective of sorts because you're helping the attorneys find things. They're always searching for particular things that relate to the case, right? So you get to be, so I call that sort of detective. All right, Ramesh is saying, yes, cases from diversified industries always present challenges. Kevin, good to see you. Depot prep, but no depot. Okay, good note. All right, let's see. What else we got? You get to work with smart people. Some of those people think they're smarter than they are, but a lot of attorneys are smart people. I will give them that. And I've been lucky enough, at least, especially my last firm, whew, they hired really smart people. So it was really cool to work with them. All right, you get to be part of a legal team. So if you're working on the service provider side, you kind of miss out on this. You don't get to work side by side with the attorneys and paralegals and even the legal secretaries. You know, there's always a role for them in the whole legal team. But you don't get to be on the calls with the clients and everything. And actually you do sometimes. That's wrong. But I just like the law firm side a little bit better because I'm right there every day with the attorneys. And I like working with teams. So usually there's a litigation support team, and then there's the legal team overall that encompasses all the attorneys at all levels, partners and associates, and paralegals, and lit support. All right, so you get, okay, I'm confusing this with another one later. Okay, this one is really cool because as technology comes out in the world, it directly affects our job in litigation support. So if we collect data. So if there's, I'm losing my train of thought, but if new phones come out, new hardware comes out, and then data is put on that, then at some point down the road, there's going to be a litigation matter where we're going to be collecting data from that device. So the really cool thing is, like, I bought a Mac Mini way back when they first came out because I just wanted to switch over to Mac and learn a little bit about Mac so that I was knowledgeable when we had to collect data from a Mac. Same thing when I got my first iPhone. I dug down deep into the back end of the backups that we did. Remember when we did backups to iTunes? I dug into those to see, what file structure it was and things like that. Again, just to be curious about if we have to collect data, can we get stuff out of it? Ian says, hopefully law firms allow you to use the new technology you learn about. That's so true. I used to go to conferences and I'd come back all excited to be able to use something I learned about, and the attorneys, they just want to keep doing status quo, just keep doing what they've been doing. But anyways, I think this is a pretty cool part of the job that you get to work with new technology. Within a year or two of it coming out, you're collecting data from it, which is really cool. All right, so collections. You get to, this is related to the previous slide, and we pretty much already said that, so we'll move on. You get to work on many cases. Now, this is a pro and a con because, hey, Reth, good to see you. Kevin says, print to paper, please, and produce as PDFs. Okay, that's a joke. Kevin is joking because we're still getting asked to do that. We're in the e-discovery world, electronic documents, and we're still have people that haven't moved to that level and are still trying to do paper. Anyways, many cases. So you can have too many cases on your plate. The attorneys, the associates have too many cases on their plate. But it's kind of hard in lit support sometimes because you have all these associates and partners coming to you to get their work done, and you're only, one person. You can only do so much. So that's a technique that you need to learn called manage expectations. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you have worked on cases that just won't die. I mean, you're done, the excitement's over, you're ready to move on to the next thing, but this case just keeps on living and living and living and won't die. So let me know if that is you. I'm sure it is. Everybody has it. I see things floating across Facebook. Okay. Another thing is that you're constantly learning. Because of, you're working with technology, you're working with the latest technology, hopefully, but also just you can't know everything. That's one reason I started Litigation Support Gurus, to help share knowledge and to help encourage my friends to share knowledge, because you just, you can't know everything about everything. It's also good in that case to leverage your network. If that's what I do, I have really smart friends and I call them if I don't know anything. All right, so Ian says that's my life, and Pat is giving me, what is that, Pat? I can't see it from here. I wish you guys could see it. Oh, actually, you wouldn't be able to see it because emojis don't work in the software anyway. Okay. All right, you YouTubers, you're being kind of quiet over here. Nordist Bia says no, but a Kojak wink and point is always good. I saw that comment earlier, but I'm just now seeing it on YouTube. Okay. Um, Google is your friend. So I said Excel is your friend, Google is your friend. You know, attorneys don't realize how many times, you know, they walk out of the room, we're like, yep, we're on it, we got it, and we're going to Google to figure out how to get it done. That's what you got to do sometimes, especially if they give you file types you've never seen before. Fileextension.com is your friend. Uh, both hands up, Pat says. Thank you. She's like, all right. You get to learn, this is a learning moment, so you get to learn how to build a rapport with attorneys. So this is very important. Couple things here. One is that, let me see where we are on time. Okay, good. One is if you can get your HR department to put you on the list of when somebody new starts a law firm, they go through a couple days of orientation. Get on that orientation list so that you can be introduced to all new attorneys that join the firm, and you can give them a spiel about your litigation support department and how you can help them. Because otherwise, they're not going to find you unless someone tells them to go find you, or they're used to having it at their previous firm. But also, so that's for new attorneys coming into the firm. But also, just in general, I was telling a friend of mine the other day. I walk the halls and I pop into the partner's office, and if they're not busy, you know, I'm not going to bother them, but if they're not busy, I pop in, plop my butt down in the visitor chair in front of their desk and ask them how they're doing. So build that rapport with the attorneys and learn how to do that. If you're an introvert, you know, it's important to try to do it. Wade says that's because we're good at creating search terms on Google. All right, so we got Ian to comment, but I don't see any comments from Rob yet. We're going to get comments from Rob. Rob, I don't care what you say, just put a comment in there. Okay, you also learn how to be concise with partners, and you're going to learn quick, because if you walk in to meet with a partner and you'll realize they're not going to give you too much time of the day. So when you go into a partner's office, they give you the sense, usually, unless they're really friendly, they give you the sense of, you know, hurry up and tell me what you need to tell me because I got things to do. So you learn how, if you want them to listen to you and you want them to actually, you know, participate in the decision with you and understand why you're making the decisions you are, then you need to educate them with the terminology and the process and everything, but also just don't waste their time. So don't go into a lot of details. Keep it really short and sweet. Concise and succinct are your friends when you're talking to partners. Okay. All right. You also learn partners can be a little intimidating because they've been there a while and they're, you know, they're important to the firm. Partners are, you know, especially if they're, you know, came in as a rainmaker, so to speak, it can be a little intimidating. So I don't let that bother me because I always treat it like people are people. So they may be, you know, full of themselves, but I'm going to treat them like a regular old person. And yes, if I do give hugs too. Yep, I do. All right, but anyways, you're going to learn how to speak with confidence. You know, when you're talking to a partner and they're grilling you a little bit, you need to be able to, you know, act like you know what you're talking about and have the confidence that you do. All right, so you're an expert. Ian says, is this how you get them to properly fear you so they take your suggestions? Fear? Don't think fear is the right word. All right. Bia, is your first name Bia and your last name Northeast? I was mentored to treat paralegals and attorneys as my clients. The credibility I earned has built my business internally. Absolutely. But in terms of this slide, just know that, you know, in the law firm life, litigation support and paralegals are considered staff, which is, you know, the opposite of being an attorney, I guess. And sometimes they talk to you like you're just staff, but they need to realize that litigation support, we have a lot of skills, and we're very smart, and we can really help. So we have our own skill set. They have their skill set. You know, they are good at what they do, and we are good at what we do, and they need to embrace that. Okay, another role that we play in litigation support is, and for those of you that are more senior, you know this well, even paralegals, if you're out there lurking, you will agree with this too. We have to mentor the first years. A first year is a lawyer who just got out of law school. Yeah, they don't know anything yet, and so we actually, they're usually thankful if they're nice. They're usually thankful for, getting the seasoned advice so they don't look stupid. My first name starts with a B. Okay, good. They don't want to look stupid in front of the partner, so if they can get, advice from paralegal or lit sport person who's been around the block a few times, like me, and lots of senior paralegals I worked with, then they usually appreciate it. My favorite is, I'm going to call out Mark Hiller, who may never listen to this, but at my last firm, he was really good at asking for, help. And then if he was one of the very few associates I've ever worked with that actually made sure the partner knew when a paralegal or a lit support person had worked really hard and contributed. In other words, he's turning in the end result work product, but he's letting the partner know that he didn't do it. It was a team effort, which is really cool. Mark's a good guy. All right, here's a big one. The attorneys are going to be asking you to do things. Don't always say yes. You learn, I always teach my team to ask, 4 or 5 questions, or 3 to 5 questions. You need to learn to sort of don't ask more questions, because if they ask you to do something and then you say yes and then you find out later that you didn't really understand what they meant, then that's not a good thing. So, and then of course they're going to run with that yes that you gave them, and that's not good either. Kathleen says, if they're smart, they should be nice to the people that help them. You would think. Hey, Kelly, good to see you joining. Participate in the comments, okay? Yes, that's very true, Kathleen, but, when I first started, when I was younger, I actually I was really surprised to see that there's a chip on the shoulder for a lot of lawyers. But since I've been doing it so long now, I just knocked that chip right off. So, all right. Don't be afraid to say, I'll get back to you. So, in the litigation support role, when you're, for those of you that are getting into it, this is one of the things you're going to have to learn is to just fine to say, I don't know, but I'll get right back to you. Okay. And as somebody alluded to earlier, Christine. Is Christine? No. Doesn't matter. Person that said it earlier said this, you have to treat them like clients. So I treat the attorneys like they're my client. The attorneys are treating their clients like they're their client, right? But also just a customer service style is very helpful. And you have to learn this if you're coming into litigation support. Okay, you might get to travel. Usually in my experience, the paralegals get to travel more than I do. The associates travel, paralegals travel. I don't get to travel as much, but I do travel when I go to conferences, which I do like to do, but like Ian alluded to, sometimes I come back from the conference and I can't implement anything that I learned because the attorneys really aren't interested. Okay, so then I wrote a blog post years later about having a bad day in litigation support, and that one also resonated with a bunch of people, and it was also shared on the ILTA website because I just listed all these things that can happen. This wasn't one of them, but this is one that I'm going to tell you today. So unfortunately, some of the attorneys, like I said, have a chip on their shoulder or whatever, and they can be quite arrogant. So this is one of the cons of working with lawyers. And then there's what I call wannabes. So when I'm training a new person in litigation support, I warn them about wannabes. Wannabes are Christine says, my favorite phrase is, please help me understand, dot, dot, dot. Can you, can you help me through your thoughts on that? Can you walk me through your thoughts on that? Oh, good. That's good. Because that keeps the conversation. That's in terms of asking the questions. Um, Wannabes are either 5 year associates, somewhere around there. When you are around 8 years, you're decide whether you're going on the partner track or not. But anyways, they're more senior associate that think they're a partner. So they will ask you to do things that you shouldn't be doing unless the partner has told you it's okay to do that. Okay, so I always warn people, you have to learn who the wannabes are. All right, you're going to get requests at the last minute. We've talked about this in previous episodes. And also, you're going to make mistakes, and you just need to own them. Basically, if you make a mistake and something that you were supposed to get done, you made a mistake doing it, or you missed a deadline, or you just flat out did something wrong, or you misspoke, just come up with a new solution and own it, and go talk to the attorney as soon as possible. That's the key right there. All right, the job can be stressful, definitely. All right, so I encourage people to take a break, go walk around the block, or leave. If attorney is frustrating you, what I do is I either lock myself in my office for a little bit, not lock, but I actually go close the door so I can deal with it, or I get out of the building and come right back. But anyways, and then also interjecting humor. If you know me, you know that I love a sense of humor. Christine says she meant to say, walk me through your thoughts on that. Yep. Okay. So this is one part of the article that I wrote about having a bad day. We do have our moments to shine. We do have our wins. And we do have days where we feel like we made a difference. You have to remind yourself of that. Remind your teammate of that. Do the best job you can with what you have. Be smart, and like I said earlier, have the confidence to stand by your decisions. And also, you're not going to survive on my team if you don't help your teammates. When you see, you're having a slow day and they're having a crazy day, ask if you can help. Wade says, and that day is tomorrow. All right. One cool thing about being in litigation support, if you're under the IT department, is that law firms have this phrase in IT called hardware refreshes, and it's usually every 2 to 3 years at the firms I work at. I've been lucky. Other firms, it's like 7 or 8 years. But hardware refreshes when they replace all the computers. And usually if you're part of the IT department, if litigation support's part of the IT department, you get the new computer first. So if somebody says, do you want your lit support team to be under IT or not under IT, this is a benefit of being under IT. I actually, as lit support manager, had my own budget as part of the IT budget. I had my own budget in litigation support. So that's kind of cool because I was able to budget for new software, new hardware, and conferences and training for people. So that was pretty cool. I had a CIO at that same firm that basically, if I was making a request for something, whether it was in my budget or not, and it was for a client, she basically told the whole IT department, if Amy needs it and it's for a client, make it happen. I got a couple of servers out of that once in different offices. We get a lot of cool toys, whether we're using them for forensics or just, we get to buy software to process data, and we just get kind of geeky stuff. We get a whole bunch of, back in the day, we get the any type of portable device that holds, has a hard drive, portable hard drives. We get a bunch of those because we go through them like there's nobody's business. You also, because you're in litigation support, you usually get higher security access. So law firms are known for locking things down, and I think government does this too. I know government does this, locking things down. But if you're in lit support, you actually need to do things that other people can't do, even getting to DOS. They block people from getting to DOS. But we actually need to get to DOS. So anyways, it's a benefit of being able to hashtag legal says yay for cool toys. That's why I do it. Okay, that's great. Okay. Okay. So when I worked at Piper, we had, I don't know, a bunch of different offices, like a bunch. But we had 92 people in the IT department across those offices. The majority were here in Maryland, where I am. But the really cool thing that I noticed is that the all of the admin areas, HR, you know, all of the admin areas, uh, bookkeeping and all that kind of stuff of the firm, they didn't get to work with the lawyers. IT didn't even get to work with the lawyers. They made sure things worked for the lawyers to do what they need to do, but litigation support's the only team that actually works side by side with the lawyers. So when you think about a law firm or a legal team, existing, a legal department inside a corporation, they exist because the lawyers need to practice law, and we get to assist them with doing that. And I've always thought that's pretty cool. All right, so we're near the end, and I just want to tell you one of my phrases. So I tell my students this also when they're learning technology, because it's usually hands-on, but also in general. When technology works, we celebrate, and I tell people to celebrate by doing a happy dance. So you can see that I think litigation support rocks. So I hope you got a kick out of today's episode, where I hopefully have convinced you, if you want to get into litigation support, that it's a pretty cool career. If you're already in it, hopefully I've reminded you of why you're in it in the first place. Or Peter says that's one happy camper. Kevin says it looks just like my office. Kevin, you're such a character. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I do want to tell you that next Friday is the day after Thanksgiving, but I'm going to go live anyway, partially because people will be home and they might actually get to attend, and partially because a lot of people in our industry have to work that day. So I just want to let you know that I will be going live next Friday, and I hope you can join me. And thanks everybody for showing up today. Hey Rob, good to see you. Okay, I will see you guys next week.